Race.
Race, yeah. Okay. Hey everybody, and welcome to the David Christopher's channel. I am Jen.
Still David.
Still David. And we're back today with another exciting episode for you that does not have to do with a wreath. The past few weeks we've been doing some DIY wreath kits and everyone has been super excited about those. I've been very happy to see your orders coming in for those. If you missed that video, go back and check it out. We have like 3 different kits on our website right now, davidchristopher's.com. And we're doing something different today. As you can see, this is not a wreath.
It's a big hot dog.
It's a hot dog, yeah. So we're actually going to, do you have your little cutter? Of some kind, you have a knife. We're going to cut these open and show you what is in here.
It's like an adult blind pack.
Yes, it is. It's so exciting. Isn't it fun when you get stuff in the mail though and you get to unpack it, unbox it? Ooh. Let me get this out so you can see it. So we basically have the same things in our boxes, but different colors, right?
Right.
So I have, this is the small dough bowl. And this is, what color is this considered?
That's the natural.
The natural, that's what I thought. And yours is whitewashed?
Yeah, mine is the whitewashed color.
So I have the natural, he has the whitewashed. And then we're not done. We're not done yet there, kids. We've got more to uncover. Let's see. Can you guess what else is in here? It's going to be a larger version of the smaller dough. Woo! Yay! So this is the large and the natural, and this is my small. Where's your small?
It's over here.
You gotta show everybody the small.
Sorry, I laid it down.
There you go. So let us know which is your favorite. Do you like the natural? Do you like the whitewashed? Which one are you gonna start with first?
I think I'm gonna start with the whitewashed.
Okay, so I'm gonna put mine to the side?
Yeah.
Great. Well, let's get started. See you back in a minute.
So we need a piece of styrofoam that's going to fit down inside of this. Thankfully, this 2x4x12 piece that we have already pre-cut fits just perfectly. So we're going to dip the ends of it in the glue pretty well.
This is our handy dandy electric skillet that we always use.
You could use a glue gun.
You could use a glue gun. You don't have to get this excessive with it.
Everybody's got a glue gun at home, right? Because they've got to glue things to their kids' school costumes.
Yeah, or just crafts in general.
Yeah. Okay, so just let that sit for a second and then it's going to be ready for us to put some moss on. So a little bit of Spanish moss, just kind of spread it out a little bit so that we've got enough to kind of cover the majority of our styrofoam. We really don't want to see the styrofoam because it's not pretty. We want to see, something a little more natural, so that's where the moss comes in real handy. And really, if you can cover most of the edges, you're doing great, because we're going to cover most of the middle up anyway.
Nobody's going to see
most
of that. It's almost like when someone, like a guy, starts to lose their hair. You can still see a little of the scalp. You'll never unsee that now.
Okay, so we're going to be using something a little bit different today. These are our Eva Succulents in this kind of a gray-green kind of color. And they're going to come just kind of compact, and you just kind of pull all the petals down so you've got this more nice succulent. Cut the tag off. And these are quite large, so they're going to take up a good bit of space. And we're going to use a little bit of glue. And we're going to place one facing a little bit more toward me on this side, and I'm going to place one facing a little bit more toward you on that side.
You want to show me about how much stem you have left?
I got about 4 inches roughly on that.
Okay.
And we're going to cram this one down just a little bit further than the other one.
These are so pretty, they look real.
So this is going to give you really the majority of your shape. We're doing these kits so that we're trying to make these as easy as possible so that you don't have lots and lots of stuff to think about. We just want to do something where you can put a couple of things down in there, and then I'm going to put a little bit of our eucalyptus and things coming out of the sides.
So for the kit, they're going to get the dough bowl, a piece of styrofoam already pre-cut,
Yep.
some of the Spanish moss in a little bag, 2 of the EVA succulents, and then you're going to just add a few more things to that.
Right.
So,
yeah, I'm going to be using our little willow seeded eucalyptus here. And it's just got 3 individual branches, which is handy. We're just going to dip those in some glue. Let these kind of flow naturally out of the sides here. If you want to make some kind of come up a little bit, that's fine, just to give it a little bit of height, a little bit of variation. But we're just going to keep extending a little bit.
So you're using 2 of these or more?
I think I'm going to use 2 of them.
And this one you didn't really cut as much.
That one's just a little bit longer. 2 of them are a little bit shorter on each branch.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I've got a little bit of this, it's kind of a blue, it's kind of a gray-green rosemary. And we're going to use a little bit of that just for some variation and some color. I'm just going to cut it into little pieces, and it's going to be a great little filler for any spots where you feel like you've got some of that moss that's not covering 100%. That's where you want to, hide the scalp.
Yeah, looky there. You went with it.
So it's like a ground cover.
Yes.
If you're planting things,
It's a cap.
Little ground cover
for the
here.
Styrofoam. And this should be able to coordinate with most colors, and with the greenery, you really can't go wrong. We've talked about that quite a bit this year. Remember, if you check the description, you will see a link to the kits that we sell. You can check those out.
And I mean, that's really all we have to do, just for something simple on a foyer table or a buffet table, or, even on a console table such as this one, would be a great little sofa table. And this one can be kind of all the way around if you need something that's all the way around, because we offset the succulents and faced one toward each direction. It's going to look good from all directions. But we don't want to fill this up extremely. If you want to add things to your specific color combinations or whatever you choose, you can add more to it. But for the kit, we're just making something very simple that's easy to replicate.
And it was like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Gluing my other piece of styrofoam into the natural small bowl, which fits nicely in this one as well. And then we're going to moss this and get started on a different color combination.
So it's almost like you're going to get a handful of...
Yeah, you get like a little bag of moss. It is a little messy, so I do recommend that, because it will, kind of shed a little bit. But if you do it over the bowl, you should be fine. And, you could do this somewhere where you are aware you're going to be making a little bit of a mess. So don't do it over carpet or rug. That's not a good idea. Do this on a hard surface where you vacuum or sweep it up. So for this particular piece, one thing we are going to need to do is we're going to cut this mountain ash right below where it kind of forks right here. And we're actually going to use this piece and cut it in half. And then I'm going to bend this stem, a little bit of a hook on it. So the reason we're going to do that is because we're going to stick it through these little boxwood balls, and that little hook is going to catch so that we can stick this down in here and it won't go anywhere. So we're going to use a couple of our larger, well, this is, I know it's small, but we have like enormous sizes in these boxwood balls. This is, I think, the 6-inch. Yeah, that's 6-inch. So we're going to take this, dip it in a little bit of glue, and then find us a nice spot for it, and just stick it in. And that way it won't go anywhere. Just make sure you push down pretty well on that. A little bit of plastic showing. I'm going to cut my stem right there. Just kind of bend your boxwood foliage back over it, and it disappears.
So if somebody comes up and tries to pick it up, it's not going to work.
Nobody's going to steal that one.
And how many of these are you using?
I'm going to use 2 of this size, and then I'm going to use one of a little bit slightly smaller, not a whole lot smaller. So we're going to do the same thing. One thing that you can do, I know it might not be everybody's thing, but you can cut it a little bit to where you only see the wire. It's just a little more complicated if you choose to do that.
I feel like you're only doing that because you like to whittle on sticks or something.
I do like to do that, but this will keep me from having to try to hide as much. So when I make that little hook and I push this down through here, then it will be much easier to hide than the other style. And since I cut some off the bottom down here, it's going to be easier to go into the styrofoam. So you can do that. It does require a little bit of precision because you don't want to cut yourself.
I do not like that method. When I'm doing something, if I need that done, I usually take it to David and I'm like, here, will you do this for me? Because I'm accident prone. I feel like I would somehow chop my thumb off or something, require stitches of some kind. So know your limits. I feel like we need a don't try this at home
I have
disclaimer.
cut myself before, so yeah, that's the thing. And then I'm going to get my other one so that I can have some more branches, and we're just going to cut at the fork. So we're going to separate these anyway. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to cut this one into thirds because I need an extra one. So same thing, I'm just going to cut a little bit off to get my wire, and then I'm going to bend a little hook into it. And these, you can actually just hook a little piece of the wire and stick those in. You don't have to have as much if you don't want to, or you can go all the way through them.
And these are little
to
vine.
the other side, little angel vine balls.
Angel vine balls or orbs. If you watched our last video, you know that there's all kinds of different names for different things. So whether it's a ball or an orb may depend on where you're from.
Or a sphere.
Or a sphere. I love when people call the balls baubles.
Or a round object.
Just a round vine object.
Vine variety.
Vine variety?
Yeah. So we're gonna kind of cram our other moss ball kind of up here, and we're gonna tuck this one in a little bit lower. So this one's gonna go first. bend that. Shave a little bit off so I can get it in the styrofoam a little easier.
Just remember, if you don't want to shave it off.
Right. You don't have to.
You don't have to.
It's not a prerequisite, but
I'm assuming people could, if they know they want this to stay like this permanently, they could glue their pieces in.
I mean, you could,
messy,
but I do like to be able to kind of adjust if you want to here and there. Yeah. Like you can, if you grab the stake part, you can move them a little bit. So that is handy because you can kind of pull those out and
reposition.
Yeah, you just have, and then like a lot of times what I'll tell people is, you know, if it's Easter and you want to take these out and put pumpkins in, great. I mean, eggs in.
What?
I was a little ahead of myself because you can use pumpkins during the fall.
Yes.
And you can use eggs during the spring. So, you know, it's just a handy thing to me to be able to redo more easily than if you dedicated yourself completely, like the moss and everything's coming out of it.
So far you have 2 of one size of the boxwood balls, and then 1 of the smaller, and then 2 of these vine orbs.
Right.
And then you're going to get started with more.
So you just want to make sure that you've got a little bit of height difference in these, hopefully. So we kind of crammed this smaller one down in here a little bit more just to give it a little variation. And that way, when we start adding everything, it's going to make a little more sense. So I have our Natural Touch Asparagus Fern. This is one of our more popular foliage items. These have a very realistic look and feel to them. They have a lot of brown in the stem, which really makes them appear more lifelike. To have that brown in the middle, but nowhere else, makes it look like it's more growing. And then these you just kind of pull, a little challenging sometimes. That's what I do anyway. I pull the little bottom piece off. That's meant so if you want to plant it in something, it's easier, but we're not going to do that. We're going to separate it. So all you got to do is take it and pull, and they'll separate into more individual pieces. And that way we don't have to do as much cutting and all that, because it can be rough on your hands if you're not used to it.
And they have a fairly thick piece of wire that will stick down into the styrofoam.
Well, it's not super thick. These are actually fairly thin. It's a sturdy piece of wire.
That's what I mean. It'll stick down. It will pierce the styrofoam.
It should go in very easily. So we can cut some of this off if you choose to, but you don't have to. So we're just going to add some of this. We want some spilling over kind of the sides. We're not going to cut this one. We're just going to stick it down in there, give them a little bit of height here.
And just know that when you get your kit and you start working on your project, it does not have to look exactly like this, an exact duplication. That's the fun thing. If you get the idea and the supplies to make it, you can kind of have fun with it and do your own thing and come up with something that's similar, but it has your own unique twist and touch on it.
Put one kind of in the center here, and then just make sure you you do let some just drip over the sides a little bit, and make sure it's not all facing one direction. We want to make sure that it's going in lots of different directions so that it appears as if it's growing around all of your moss balls. I mean your orbs, your boxwood orbs. And I can't talk today.
We're not using moss balls today.
I know. I got pumpkins and moss balls in the brain. I'm not even using any.
Well, we've been tied up in our cemetery season. making tons and tons of arrangements for that, and it's been a little bit of a wild time. This is almost like our Christmas in the spring.
It's gonna be some late nights this week.
Yes, because a lot of people shop with us in our store to buy base arrangements, saddles, tomb clips, whatever you want to call it, wreaths to go on graves. So we always have such a fantastic sale, and we have a lot of
So I'm gonna give this a little
twist.
spin, let you see.
Pretty.
So I am angling this one a little more toward this direction, but if you wanted to angle more toward the other direction, I would recommend that you just bend more down in that angle. And if you want it to face both directions, you just bend some down on both sides. So now I've got it more two-sided.
Nice.
And we're gonna add some of these in. I am gonna cut this a little bit shorter to where I've got 3 leaves on this side and just a piece on that side with the seeded part.
Do you want to tell people what this is?
This is our mountain ash. So it's just got a good coloration to the stem. Here I go. I'm gonna shave that. That one had a thick piece of plastic on it. I'm gonna shave it down a little bit just to make it easier.
If you have a pick machine, you can also pick these things.
I'm trying to do it DIY
Yes, I
where you
understand.
don't.
I'm just saying, but we have a lot of people that watch the channel that actually buy wholesale from us and have their own businesses, and some are just getting started. And if you have a pick machine, you can pick some of this stuff. We just
But picks have gotten expensive,
they
so
have.
I am doing more of this than I used to.
Use what you have. You have to be resourceful.
So we want to fill in some of those gaps and separate out our pieces a little bit with these mountain ash that we're using. So you just need a little bit of a angle on it. Will make it a lot easier to start in the styrofoam.
And that really does help bring it all together. The mountain ash.
Yeah, I like that it's got some different coloration on it.
Got a little brown, a little
doesn't-
green, but it's got a lighter color green.
Yeah.
So
So we're gonna stick this one on the other side here because we do want this one, we do want this to be kind of 2 directions. So you can put it somewhere where it can be seen on all sides well.
this would look so good on a kitchen table, like you said, a foyer table, even in a bedroom on your.
Stick this one right here, which is really our last spot to kind of fill in. And then, like I said, 2-sided, easy to do, doesn't take very long. And then, as I said, if you are crazy, you can, put your pumpkins out at Easter, put your eggs out at Halloween to really confuse people. Or if you're like us, we have, Christmas in the store at Halloween, so people are like, it's too early, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So, you're welcome to put whatever you choose to in here. They're great to be personalized with. If you want a specific color that you really want to accent in your house and you want something that's very natural, you can do something exactly like this and just add little bits of color into it to suit your preference.
Okay, well that did not take very long. So as a recap, this is the large dough bowl in whitewash, and we're going to be providing you with an opportunity to purchase the kit in the whitewash with this foliage and the flowers, or in the natural color. So when you purchase your kit online, you'll get a choice of, do you want the natural bowl or do you want the whitewashed bowl? And then all the contents will be the same on the inside. Same with this particular design. This one is considered more of the small, although as you can see, it's not very small. There's
it just
not
barely fits down inside the other.
It kind of nestles down inside.
The length is almost the same. The depth and the width are a little bit smaller.
Yeah, so just you can see those kind of side by side for comparison as to what size that you want. But everything inside of this will be available in the natural bowl or the whitewashed bowl. So you can pick at checkout which one of those that you like, and get your kit in and make it yourself. As always, we sell wholesale, we sell retail. We are here to answer your questions the best that we can. Reach out to us on social media through Facebook and Instagram. We're also on Pinterest. Don't know if you knew that, but we are. So we love to hear from you. Leave us a comment and let us know which one of these suits your fancy. Which one do you like the best? We would love to hear from you. And also, if you have any ideas that you would like to see us come up with this summer, we're always in the market for hearing from you, and you just let us know what you would like to see, and we'll do our best to make it happen, right?
We will try.
Yes.
If we have time, we will make it happen.
We'll make it happen. Have a great day. Until next time, be blessed, stay safe, and love your neighbor.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Yes. Bye. Bye.